7 away, keep moving. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, 87CYM. Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airwaves with mass scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. A crossband repeater and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. We also have an appearance on the internet. You can find our net by Googling WW7ATS. That's WW7ATS. That'll take you to our homepage. From there, it'll show you how you stream our video and the frequencies that we operate and how to contact us at the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. So with that, I'll pause in case anyone needs to make a contact or have emergency communications on the 08 machine before our net gets fully underway this evening. Again, this is Dave, 87CYM. And again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, 87CYM. We have checked into the net already by a video link. Jessica, KS7UHK. Lee, N7KC. Bert, N7CS. Richard, K7ITX. Jim, N7QO. And myself, Dave, KD7ZYM, and I see James, WW7M, has checked in with us also. Is there anybody else who would like to check into the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net?
K7HYB, setting up.
K7HYB, Gary, we got you. Again, anybody else wishing to join the net this evening on the 08 repeater? Seeing none, let's start at the top of the list that we have going this evening. We'll start off with Jessica, KS7UHK.
KS7UHK, Jessica over here in Everett, where a few minutes ago in the car it was 65 degrees. It's blustery out there, and even between our buildings where you don't get a lot of weather, it's blustery also. I wouldn't say it's windy, but when the wind blows, it's hard. I don't know how much rain we got, but it's been fairly constant for a little while. So that's what's going on here. Let's see, we had a little Thanksgiving dinner with one of our friends who brought over a turkey a couple days ago. We thought it all out and made a whole Thanksgiving spread today. And we also had Thanksgiving back on Wednesday at another friend's house. So we're almost Thanksgiving out. You know, it's a Thanksgiving miracle here in the North Puget Sound. Let's see, if you haven't seen the Secrets of the Dead about the Hindenburg, we watched that tonight. It was really interesting. It's on PBS, and you can probably find a copy of it somewhere about what their suspected things that was really happening at the demise of that. And then you can look up the Lakehurst military base where it was landing at, and you can find that on Google Earth. And that was even more fascinating because the hangar that held the Hindenburg would have held the Hindenburg is still there, and along with they pointed out on Google Earth where it made its demise. So my weather guesser says it's going to be more rain, and I agree with that. So I'm going to pass it back to Jessica, KS7UHK.
KS7UHK. Let's go to Lee. N7KC in Port Angeles.
I'm on you guys tonight. Thank you. They're working. I don't know how the microphone works with these things. Whether it's bone conduction or this side or they're pretty good. And good evening to
all the crew here on Zoom, and also, I guess it was Jerry checked in. Oh, and we're getting QA as well, so I've got a big crew tonight. Well, I don't have anything to report here. The Hindenburg, we did watch that. There's been a number of those documentaries. This one was similar, I guess, to the others before. But, yeah, you want to go see alien when you build something like that. Because they don't lift half as much. Well, anyway, back to that, Dave. I don't have any. I'm just trying to enjoy the net tonight in 7 cases. N7KC, thanks for that. Let's go to Bert. N7CS.
Well, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone had a good, wonderful, rainy Thanksgiving. But let's see. Not too much going on around here. My wife and I just, we usually like to do walks every day, but it's been raining so much lately. We decided to go to the mall near our house and just walk around in the mall with the Everett Mall. And so it was cool to see some of the new stores there. Apparently they brought arcades back. So there's like arcade video game places in a couple of places at the mall, so that was kind of interesting to see. I hadn't seen those in a while. But what else is going on? Just getting, I'm going to be going to Las Vegas for about 2 weeks in December. Just different weeks during the week, not continuous, but I was trying to check what kind of ATV repeaters were out there, and it looks like there is actually one near Las Vegas using the same frequency setup we use here. So the 434 uplink and the 1253.25 downlink. So I might actually try taking my equipment there. If they happen to be doing that on any night, then I'll be there. So may give that a shot. And I think they may have, I think it's AM analog, and then they have some digital components to it as well. So I'll just look at that. But yeah, not too much else going on. It's been a lazy day. Anyway, this is Bert and Marysville, N7CS, back to that.
N7CS, let's go to Gary, K7HYB, and Multi.
Not too much on this go around right at the moment. And Bert, are you going to be home on Wednesday night? Yeah, I'll be home Wednesday. Okay, we're going to be in the Marysville area, and I still got some stuff down here. I tried to put it together and swing by your house and drop it off. So I'm done experimenting with it. Anyway, that's about all for me right now. Just try to check in and see what's going on. I'll be monitoring. I'm looking at the repeater output. I don't see anything, but that's not unusual. It could very well be because of atmospheric conditions or whatever. So maybe it's not even heat up. I don't know. But I see the streaming's working pretty well too tonight. So I'm glad to see that. Anyway, back to you, Dave. K7ZYM, K7HYB.
K7HYB. Let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
Okay, well, I might as well try to start the show off with some video here. Let's see if I know what I'm doing. Come on. Let's see. Okay. So far, so well, I think I just have to play it. All right. So, in keeping with the Christmas spirit, there's my mother-in-law. She's the native Icelander, and there's Debbie, the YL. We're decorating the chimney with all kinds of Santa Clauses and things, and then the Christmas tree, of course, which is Mika's favorite mischievous place to hide, and even though Santa's on the ground there, I mean, she just mows through. Oh, okay, yeah, it's still working. Well, it wasn't much to it, so. Okay, so anyway, we'll go back to the profile.
file on streaming. So anyway, what the heck? You know, I'm just sitting around not doing anything, and I thought I'd just take a little movie of the wife and her mom getting ready for Christmas. K7ITX back to net control. K7ITX, let's go to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, good evening, everyone. Dick, thanks for the pictures of Christmas preparations. I haven't even thought about Christmas preparations yet, so you're ahead of me a little bit. I guess we all did discuss installation of Christmas lights on the previous net, or maybe it was 2 nets ago, but I'll watch what everyone else is doing on that. I will not be participating in mounting Christmas lights on my abode. Let's see. Lee, yeah, the microphone on your earpods sounds just fine. I'm not exactly sure how they work either. I have a pair of earpods I got for like $15. They don't work all that well, but surprisingly they work. I can hear okay, so that's something. Reset. And let's see, someone was talking about the weather. Good evening, Wade. Someone was talking about the weather. Yeah, right now I've got 53 degrees at my house, just down the road from Dick. And right around lunchtime today, it began raining. And between then and now, I had maybe 4 hours of what I would call heavy rain. And then the remaining 4 hours, not necessarily consecutive 4 hours, but it was raining to some lesser degree. It never really stopped. But that's okay. It's kind of warmer than usual out there, I think. And Jessica, airships. Yeah, that's pretty cool. There was a special which I saw sometime within the past month. It may have been 2 or 3 weeks ago. They didn't specifically highlight the Hindenburg, but it was airships in general. And it was pretty cool. They were saying something about a hangar and a mounting post somewhere out in the Arctic. I thought that was kind of interesting. It made some reference to Germany and their development of airships. Anyway, cool stuff. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
N7QO, and it's ID time again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. And let's go to James in Bellevue, WU7N.
Thank you, Dave. Let's do an audio check tonight. I'm trying, ever trying something new. I see thumbs up. That's good. Well, first of all, I should probably address, what you all want to know, of course, and that is, the earpods. Why did we give them to you? Well, it's like nuclear weapons and Velcro and microwave ovens. We gave them to you just to see what you would do with them. That's why we did that. You have to, I see a puzzled look on Lee's face. Anyways, I'm wondering, Jessica, you might know this, is there some kind of in dirigibles and airships, because I've been watching a lot of videos on them recently, and I don't know why I would just jump up and start doing that. My favorite fun fact about the Hindenburg is they mixed up a paint that is a perfect rocket fuel. It actually has an oxidizer and a fuel built into the paint, and then they painted the outside with that, and then hydrogen got the bad rap for the famous Lakers picture. The whole thing goes poof. Like one of those teenage parties with matches. I mean, and then it's really, hydrogen got a bad rap for that, because you can have a hydrogen helium combination of bags inside those kinds of airships, and apparently it works pretty well, and it's, reasonably safe. At one point in my aviation career, there was a company looking into a supersonic version of the Hindenburg, and of course it doesn't look like a bullet kind of thing. It looked more like a squashed shape, and it had an air intake on it. But it was a lighter than aircraft with giant engines on it, and they claimed they could get it high enough. And the two things that we didn't have, back in the 20s and 30s, of course, was weather prediction and weather radar. If they had those two things, we'd all be flying around in those things today instead of, airplanes. Let's see, the weather here, my weather indicator, Jessica has her weather indicator that never changes, so it's right at least a third of the time. My weather indicator is looking at 1.2 gigahertz, because, man, it's just, the picture's unusable, it's coming and going, so it's really blowing and raining up there right now. The other thing, I was going to say, an impressive snowman, or Santa collection, Richard, that's pretty impressive there. And thank you very much for the video, but I could see why any cat would be drawn to porcelain Santas like a magnet to metal. I can understand that, for sure, especially if they're really fragile. So I think I've talked enough for now, so I'm going to go and turn it back to our net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Dave, take it away.
WW7M, James, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. Here I got 55 degrees and drizzle. Man, today has been drizzle. I got out to lunch with my daughter today, and it was like this kind of drizzle that comes down. Even Gore-Tex won't protect you. It's just a fine mist, and it gets in the seams, you might say, of the Gore-Tex and manages to seep through. But that's pretty good. Getting ready for the holidays. Monday I'm ready for festivities. I got my Hanukkah bush up, and it's lit up in a living room, ready for Monday. So anyway, I'm joining the holiday crowd again this year. And that's about pretty much it. I did get out today, and it was kind of nice to get out in the rain, but outside of that, lunch was fantastic. Found a wonderful Mexican restaurant to partake in that. So this is Dave, KD7ZYM, and I see Ron, KD7QKU has joined us, so let's go to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, thank you very much, Dave, and this is Ron, KD7QKU. Sorry I'm late, you guys. I was sitting here watching a Christmas movie on Hallmark, and Joanne is putting up some Christmas stuff, or she carried a bunch of boxes in that has Christmas stuff in it, so that's what she's doing out in the living room. And Jamie and Crystal, we've got 3/4 of an inch of rain here today, and I just looked at the temperature. It was 57 degrees. Really warm outside. So, let's see, we went to our son Mike's, keeping him up for Thanksgiving dinner. We had a nice dinner with his relatives, his mother-in-law and father-in-law, Dave and Norma, and his wife's brother, and his wife. There was 10 of us, I think. So it was a small group, but we had a nice visit. And then drove home. Oh my. Let me let it drop a second. I guess I'm getting old. 2-lane highway, oncoming traffic, pouring down rain in the darkness. It was not an enjoyable trip to get out to Highway 16, I can say that. Unfamiliar road, really, I've driven it a few times, but not so much in the dark and the rain and everything. So I was happy to get out to the road. And then I had texted some friends that live on Whidbey Island, and they had gone up by Mount Vernon to her cousins, and they got stuck in the same thing. They were in the dark and in the rain, and Elaine texted me. I had texted her and said, Happy Thanksgiving. She said, oh man, she said, I wish I was home. They're the same age I am, so what happens when you get old, I guess. All right, back to that, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU. Well, not speaking of old, talk about young. Let's go to Jessica, KS7, UHK.
That's right. Just don't forget that I'm really, really young. Just want to tell you that right here, right now. Two-lane roads, Ron. Another thing is these people have these really bright headlights. I don't know what they're thinking, but it may work for the people with the headlights on, but the ones that are coming at them, boy, those are hard. Those just really blind you. You give you temporary blindness while you're going by them, and you kind of go, I think I'll try to watch the fog line if I can see it through all that blindness. So I'm with you. And getting older doesn't help any. So I'm with you on that. Hallmark movies. There's only one I found I really like. It's called Snow Globe. Where a lady gets stuck in a snow globe and everything they act like they're from inside a snow globe. And it's just hilarious if they're trying to get back to reality. But otherwise, yeah, I'm with Dave over there. They're kind of sleepers. You really need some hot chocolate, some cookies to go with them, and a lot of them. Otherwise they're no good. Let's see, Santa's and the fireplace. This beautiful collection, but how are you going to get the wood in the fireplace, because that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a fireplace going, I want to get that thing going and roaring, just lay down in front of it with a blanket, and I'm good. Let's see, 14. Oh, yeah, Hindenburg, that Lakehurst is only 14 miles from the coast also, so it made it really turbulent for anything coming off the coast and the weather. So it was one of those things where you kind of go, what could possibly go wrong here? Well, many things. I suppose they were lucky they were only 200 feet off the ground when that happened, as opposed to say 35,000 feet or something over the ocean. That would be really, really terrible. And last thing is for Bert up there. If you stick your ATV equipment on a carry-on, how will they go through the X-ray machine? Are they going to ask a lot of questions? It's always the questions that they ask. Because I usually bring along a camera and a computer and hard drives and wiring and power supplies and stuff like that. And I always got to pull it out and stick it in a separate box. And I always look at it they look it over a few times. Sylvia had her camera taken out of her bag so she could explain what everything she had in her, just a simple camera bag. So that's my report from here. KS7 UHK.
KS7 UHK. Let's go to Lee. M7KC. Yeah, well, again, I don't have much to add. The Hindenburg, I don't know. I came south. I spent some time at accelerators and used liquid hydrogen as targets for charged particle beams and whatnot. And they used to do a demonstration now and then where they would take a little bit of liquid hydrogen and they would fall on top of these big shielding blocks that you could take armored steel off of battleships, and they would cause an explosion, and it would just pop these things like toothpicks. Anyway, and hydrogen is about as sneaky a material as you can get. It escapes the Earth's atmosphere, and it also goes through the tiniest of cracks. It's a very, very difficult gas to contain. And there they had thousands of square feet of that strange fabric, trying to hold that stuff in. I guess at least I could see it. They had to carry a lot of extra hydrogen there just to manage the leakage. And when that thing took off, it went in a hurry, didn't it? Thank goodness. I frankly was surprised that anybody could survive that, but there were a few that did. Anyway, Dave, that's it from here. It's 7KC report. Back to you. M7CS, thanks for that. And again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Does anybody else like to join into our net this evening? There now, let's go to Bert in 7CS in Marysville.
Hey, well, hello again, everyone. Let's see, a couple things. Jessica, I've like brought lots of computers and tablets and stuff with me before hopping on flights. I don't think I've ever been asked to like explain what any of the equipment is. I've heard stories of people in the past being told to like turn on the equipment so they can see it works, but that's never actually personally happened to me. And I mean, I've been pulled aside before in airports and asked to like take everything out of the bag and so they can look at everything and then put it back in. But that wasn't even, those were like international flights where I wasn't really carrying any equipment at all. It was mostly just normal personal stuff. But yeah, no, but they never really asked anything. And then, Lee, you were talking about you did some work with accelerators or something in the past. That reminds me, back when I was, like, right after I graduated high school, I got to go on a field trip in Texas to see the site of the superconducting super collider that they were building. So we got to go down in the tunnels there, see all the gigantic magnets, and we got to talk to see lots of presentations from all the PhDs that were talking about their work. And then 2 weeks later, after I get home, then Congress decides to cancel the project. So I got to see it, I guess, I don't know, they were probably about a third of the way done or something. I don't remember how far they were done, but we got to see some really cool stuff. And then the other thing I did, I was trying to find some good Black Friday deals to see if I could find a good tablet for sale, but never. I mean, the prices were still kind of higher than I would want to pay for one of these Android tablets or iPads or whatever. So haven't really found any good Black Friday deals yet. I guess maybe Cyber Monday will be something better. But anyway, this is Brett Marshall, N7CS, back to that.
N7CS, thanks for that. Let's go to Gary, K7HYB.
Yes, good evening all. Wants up in Hotel Yankee Bubble here. And no video tonight. I decided I'm not going to go to the trouble for that. So anyway, been working on a project most of the day that I'm building for the business that I run. So that's been keeping me busy. And yeah, we'll try and hook up with you by telephone here. We're going to be in Marysville on another project Wednesday night, and I thought maybe I'd swing by and get that stuff back to you. I've had it for long, and I've been through experimenting with it. So I was kind of hoping we might, you and I might get together and do some short-term stuff that the weather is not conducive to me getting out there to move that antenna and stuff like that. And my garage is going to get re-roofed here within a couple of weeks, so I'm going to have to take everything down. I got all my antennas up there, and they're all going to have to go down so the guy can re-roof my garage. Anyway, I don't have a weather report, but it's cool, and it's been raining here most of the day. My wife went out and went to a play today over in Everett, and I guess she said it was raining pretty good over there. So anyway, back to you, Dave. Dublin Bravo, K7HYB.
K7HYB. Let's go to Nuka's owner, Richard, K7ITX.
Okay, well, I know the feeling about two-lane roads in the dark and in this rain. I mean, I've had a real good test of my vision. There's a two-lane road down here that's kind of notorious in the south end, Auburn, and anybody ever heard of Military Road? Well, I'm telling you, there's no lights, literally, except headlights. And gosh, it was Tuesday night. I was I was in a job trailer. It was about 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, Tuesday night, burning some midnight oil, and right on Military Road, or maybe 100 yards off. And man, all of a sudden I hear a kaboom, and then I thought, oh no, and then I could hear, kind of tingling and metal scraping that continued longer than I thought it should, and then I heard another kerfunk, and I go, oh dear, that sounds like a wreck for sure. And so I just sat there. First of all, I wanted to make sure I didn't hear any screaming or any horrifying noises that would bother me. And so I finally poked my head out the door, and all I can say is it was just so pitch black. Literally, I could not hardly see a thing. So I ventured beyond the job trailer a little bit, and sure enough, I could see a stream of lights, because it was rush hour traffic, I mean, what can I say? And Military Road, they don't drive slow either. And I did finally see a car that kind of perpendicular to the road that looked like it was headlights really then pointing out of a ditch. And I thought, well, look at all those cars, and look at all the help those injured people are going to have. And so I mean, it would have been hard for me to get over there, and I would have been risking my life to begin with anyway. So I just went back in the trailer and didn't hear too many sirens. Maybe heard a siren or two. I don't think there were any serious injuries, but man, I'm telling you. When I leave that job trailer when it's dark and raining like that, I really am careful. I have a strategy on where I'm going to make my left turn off of Military Road. Generally, if there's a spot and there's no oncoming traffic, I'll seize it. If there's oncoming traffic, then I'll keep driving until I get to the left-hand turn lane and just pray I don't get rear-ended. But no, I'm not a big fan of Military Road, two-lane roads. Yeah, I'm too old, what can I say? So, anyway, I've lived to tell about it. K7ITX, back in that control.
K7ITX, thanks, Richard. Let's go to W7ATS in Tacoma, who's been waiting patiently to get on the net.
We can't hear you, Wade. Test it.
On the 08 machine.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Wade.
W7ITS, does anybody hear me?
That's better.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody knows anything about these ICOM radios. I don't know how to lock it so that you bump the VFO button, it just goes off frequency, and then I have to bring up the memory channel again. So I was just talking about a couple of the things that I was talking about, Jessica and your airport and the X-ray machines. I think I used to have problems with that with my gear, but ever since I got on clear, it's been pretty smooth sailing. I've not had experience taking anything out of my luggage. Usually I bring ham radios and computers and batteries, all sorts of things, and nobody ever says anything to me. Let's see. Ron, I'm glad you got to spend time with your family and spend time with Mike, your son. I'm glad it was a good Thanksgiving. I got to go. I went saw my mother, and we had dinner together and spend a couple days up there in Mount Vernon. So it was fun. Let's see, Hindenburg seems to be kind of the topic today, and also Richard, Military Road. I used to live out that way, out there in Spanaway, and I've been on Military Road a few times. I know about the two-lane road problem. When I used to live out in Gold Bar, we had Highway 2, and that was always a pain in the butt anytime there was an accident. So I think that's enough for this round. I'll turn the net back to Dave. This is W7ITL.
W7ITL, wait, thanks for that. Let's go to Jen, 107QO.
7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Wade, I don't know if you caught, but you should see that what everyone was trying to attract your attention to let you know that they couldn't hear you. Someone should have videoed that. Everyone was flashing up signs or whatever. Jessica had on a hat there. It was pretty cool anyway. We'll have to video that. Oh, that's what it is, a lampshade. It was pretty cool anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I could help you with the VFOs. I don't know. I've got an icon rig. I'm not sure if it has a lock on it or not. I keep mine up on a shelf where it's hard for me to bump. But of course now I'm on an HT, so it's a little different. Let's see. Ron, yeah, I used to really enjoy driving when I was younger, but not so much in the past decade or so. I don't know, I guess I got just a little burned out on it. Flying, fun, driving, not so much fun anymore. Reset. And let's see, Bert, I just recently saw something on the Hadron Collider. I'm curious, do you have any idea what they did, or maybe someone else knows, what the disposition is of that collider that they were installing in disappointed when they stopped construction on that. I'm curious if they just left it as it was. I'm not sure. Let's see. Underground mushroom farm. That's a lot of mushrooms down there. Let's see. For like Jim and Jessica talking about the airships. You know, I've often thought that may have been a pretty decent commercial venture. To me, you could fly on an airship today and cross an ocean, and it would be very much like being on a cruise ship, except you get there faster. Far more comfortable than a coach class seat stuck in the back, crammed in some airplane where you can't even get up and move all that much anymore. I don't know. But I guess officially the airships are dead. K7ZYQO.
7QO, thanks for that. Let's go on to James, WU7N.
Yes, thank you, Dave. This is WU7N Northeast Bellevue. The Navy lost two airships, U.S. Navy lost two airships, and two airship disasters as well. There's actually quite a string of them, and most of them went down due to weather. The one that they lost one, and this is such a story of bureaucracy. I'm not sure, they had very similar names, Chiron and something else. But they had just taken all the life preservers, the life rafts, and all that stuff off of the airship because they said it was going over the United States, and we all know there's no giant bodies of water like the Great Lakes in the United States, and they got caught in a thunderstorm over one of the Great Lakes. The sailors, or airmen, whatever you call them. But the one that went off the coast of down off the coast of California, I think that was what they related to, but they actually got quite a few of those guys because there were ships all around them, so they were able to pick them up before they turned into popsicles or whatever, you know. But let's see, the dark drive, yes, I had a Thanksgiving dark drive. You'll laugh at this one. So last year, I had a relative, super wonderful idea, made Thanksgiving dinners and promoted them to people because, you know, we're in COVID. This year, for various reasons, my family did the same thing this year. But the only person she was cooking for, I didn't even realize this, was me. And so I said, well, my goodness, let me come and get it. And then the schedule flipped, so I ended up driving in the dark, in the rain. A very short drive, really, just from one side of Bellevue to the other. Oh my goodness, I don't know when the drinks stop flowing and everybody decides to go home on Thanksgiving, but I'm pretty sure it's right around 5 or 6 p.m. because what a wild ride. There were cops pulling people over. There were vehicles that were sort of doing that big wide loop around the turn and then overcorrecting and then, you know, sort of fishtailing back and forth between lanes. I felt like I was the only completely sober person other than the police out on the streets of Bellevue. So next year, I don't think I'm going to do the dark, rainy drive on Thanksgiving evening. Let's see, the other thing, oh yes, snowboard. Look, I'm going to check that one out. Someone said I would like the animation movie Sausage Fest. So I don't know what it's about or anything about it, but they said they thought I would like it. Oh, I see some, no, the back and forth heads. Okay, all right. But it's some kind of an animation thing. Airships, I'll say this, are not completely dead. They have one that somebody's financing in Great Britain. And it looks funny. I mean, you have to look at it, but it looks to me very anatomical. But anyway, so that's you know, maybe airships will come back yet. If you get them high enough above the weather, they would be great. But that's, you know, I guess you got to come down sooner or later. This is James, WW7ATS. Let me turn it back to Dave on net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society.
Thanks for that, Jim. And again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM for an ID. Well, I saw the most amazing Amazon commercial this last week. It was a bunch of kids in the tenement section in New York. Well, they're getting ready for Santa Claus. But what? No chimney? So the kids get together with a whole bunch of cardboard boxes and tape, and they tape the boxes together, and they go up 3 stories. They build a chimney, and they get the boxes all up to the rooftop, and then all of a sudden, in comes a package from Amazon. Can you imagine that? Ingenuity, kids are pretty good. And talking about weather and driving, it was about a little bit after 3 o'clock this afternoon. It was overcast and, you know, really drizzle out. And most of the people have lights on their cars going. But I tell you, at 3 o'clock, there were several cars out here in Lake City that were going along. And you could see the cars around them. But there were these black spots of orbs that were moving in and out of traffic with their lights off. I just really, for safety's sake, because, you know, when it's raining, get your lights on in your car and just utilize that for a safety fact. I didn't hear any sound effects like Richard had for his drive, but and no sirens, but they missed the bullet anyway. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. So let's go back up to the top to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, thanks again, Dave. KD7ZYM in the group. This is KD7QKU in Tacoma, coming to you from Tacoma. Well, let's see. When we left here to go out there wasn't any rain, and then it started raining. And then when we got home, we got home. We left a little bit early. We got home about 9 o'clock. And between, I guess it was probably 1:30 and 9 o'clock, it had rained 71/100 of an inch of rain at my house. So so it really came down. Change the subject. I don't know anything about Hindenburg or dirigibles, I guess, or flying airships, but my son Mike bought a boat. I guess I didn't tell you about it. It's a 22-foot boat. He bought it up on Camino Island, and today he went up and picked it up. He's been looking at the boat and talking to the guy for a couple weeks, and he finally decided to buy it. It's a really nice boat. It's an old boat, inboard, outboard. I can't tell you the name of it. It was built in Bellingham, but it's not a boat of common name. They don't build too many boats a year, and it's kind of a commercial-looking boat, but it's got a cabin on it, bunks. It's got a table inside, like a little breakfast nook. It's got a hot water heater. It's got a inboard motor, and it's has a heat exchanger on it, so you don't get salt water in it. So anyway, he bought it, and I don't think he realized how big it was. My friend had a 21-foot Bayliner, and it was a good-sized boat, and this boat, I think, might be, it's 22 foot. So I don't know what Richard is saying to me.
He's in a flight.
No, it's not. It's something else. 22 is the smallest boat these people build. It's oh golly, I don't know the name of it. It looks like a commercial boat. And this particular boat has made 2 trips to Alaska and back. So it's a well-made boat. So anyway, he went and got it today, in the pouring down rain and everything. And he had to go to Camino Island to get it. And he lives on the Key Peninsula. So I sent him a text about 5 o'clock, and I said, I hope you got home. You haven't responded or sent me any message or anything, because he said he was going to and send me some pictures. But so I said, I hope you had a safe trip and everything went well, and I'm anxious to hear the details. So he texted me back. He said, I got home about 20 minutes ago. My goodness, he said, the road was terrible. The boat rocked and rolled, and he's got a 350 Ford truck, and he said it jerked the truck all around, and he said the road was terrible, rough and everything, and traffic was terrible, and it's pouring down rain. He said it was the most miserable trip he's ever had in his life. He said, I'm never going to do that again. So I don't think he's going to be trailering this boat around much. So he wants to put it in there's a little harbor up there, Lee, Long Branch. It has a marina when you go by and look over there. So he's going to get his name on a list and keep it in the garage in the winter and keep it at the dock in the summer. So, but yeah, I think he didn't realize how big a boat it was. So that was it. All right, back to net, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks for that. Let's go to Jessica, TS7UHK.
Well, we still had our sailboat, which was 33 feet. We were still on a dock on a stormy day and feel that thing just heave over, and we had it nicely tightened down so it was not going anywhere, not hurting anybody, but still, you had to give yourself in a good position so you didn't fall on the floor where it just felt like it was turning sideways. So yeah, it was fun. Let's see, I had some things to say about something. Steven Sondheim died. He was 91 years old. I didn't know he was still alive, but in honor of that, we watched a funny thing happen on the way to the forum, and I sang along with all the songs because I just think it's a fun, cute movie. And when we went to Amsterdam a long time ago, everybody had little TV sets on the back of on the back of the seat, so everybody had their own TV set. And I watched that movie a couple times because I think it was a 12-hour flight. I had nothing else to watch. It was that interesting, so I watched it twice just because I liked the music. Mostly because I liked the music. It's silly humor too. Sodium metal. When I was at Boeing, I was a safety person, and I also became like a trainer safety person for people in the area. And one of the things they let us do is go watch some of our engineers go to sodium sodium metal out in the parking lot, and that's just the most scariest stuff. I just stood back and watched. I didn't want to get close to it. Electrolysis. I have done the experiment of electrolysis of water probably 3 times. Twice in speech classes at work, not work, at school. 2 different high schools I went to at different times. I had speech classes, and I learned this from a science class. And so I applied that science class to IPA science. So I did electrolysis of water, and you light off the hydrogen and the oxygen with your matchstick. Very fun, very fun. Easy to do, simple to do. You can do it right in your kitchen. I don't know if you should though. And then lastly, last time I went to the airport, they did one of those, I think they call it a secondary check, and I call it a frisk, because I had some Kleenex in my pocket. I had taken out all my keys and my change, which usually they catch me on something like that. But this time I just had a little bit of Kleenex in my pocket, and they said, we want to have you step over here, and we got a secondary check. And so they frisked you. And I was fine that way. But it's always kind of comical, because I always feel like I work really hard not to get that secondary check. And the last few times I've been in the airport, they give me the secondary check. Even though I look like a nice, honest, young person. But, maybe it's falling here. I'm going to pass it back to Jessica, KF7UHK.
KF7UHK. Thank you, Jessica. Let's go to Lee, N7KC in Port Angeles.
Okay, I'm kind of facing this right out here. This has been an entertaining mess tonight. Oh my goodness. Driving at night. Well, I've got cataracts. I keep speaking of that, I've got them, and I have not had them fixed. I don't think those are those taken care of, but I have not. And I just find that after dark, and those people with their headlights, with a big angular ring around them, it's quite impressive. And so I try to make a point not to drive after dark, I can do it, but it's not fun, and I used to just love driving any time of the day, But you just don't know what the other guy's going to do, and honestly, I couldn't even see it coming, I don't think, So, our car's pretty close, and 101 over here is a 2-lane road, for Pete's sake, and they rounded out the 4 lanes between Port Angeles and Swim, thankfully. An awful lot of people spend time on that road. It really cut down on the number of accidents. It was a great thing to do. But go west from Port Angeles and go east from Swim. You're back on a 2-lane fast highway. It's dangerous. Well, talking about accelerators, back after I got the Navy, my first job while I was a student at university was at the Energy Physics Laboratory. And I was working on an accelerator experiment that was going to go at Brookhaven. So we're going to truck everything over there. And it takes a couple of years to actually build an experiment with an accelerator. So I went back with that for 3 or 4 months to Brookhaven National Lab up on Long Island there at Patchogue. And it was one of the most interesting times of my life, I think. I was an engineering student before I ran. I changed my major to physics when I got back. It was wonderful. Nothing else here. This is N7KC. Back to you, Dave.
N7KC. Let's go to Bert. N7CS.
Okay, well, let's see. Oh, yeah, I didn't hear if anybody mentioned it, but yeah, the big news yesterday was the new Omicron variant of COVID. The markets took a little bit of a nosedive yesterday, so hopefully that turns around, or maybe it'll be a big buying opportunity there. Gary, you mentioned you went to go, or your wife went to go see a play in Everett. I didn't realize they did plays in Everett. I've been to a few plays in a little theater in Marysville, but I'll have to figure out where there's some plays in Everett. And then James, Sausage Fest, yeah, I did not like that at all. I generally like raunchy comedies, or animated shows like South Park and Family Guy. I generally like that kind of stuff. but with Sausage Fest, they just pushed raunchy, like, way past the dial. I mean, it became almost gross. It was, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You may want to see it. Maybe it is your cup of tea, but I mean, it kind of, involved cannibalism and I don't know, things like that. But yeah, it was I don't know. And then let's see. Oh yeah, getting the secondary check, Jessica. Yeah, so when on my most recent flight, my wife and I, we usually end up getting pre-check, but this time my wife didn't get it, so she had to go through the big scanner doohickey where they irradiate you or whatnot. And yeah, they found something in her pocket, but I think they made her go through and get irradiated like 2 more times. It turns out she left one of those little elastic hairbands or whatever in her pocket, and they found that little tiny circular hairband. They actually found that thing and made her take it out. She didn't even know it was there. Yeah, and I think the reason she didn't get pre-check is because I put my date of birth year on the reservation for her instead of hers, so that apparently flagged a bunch of stuff in the system. Anyway, 73 all, this is Burn Rachel, N7CS, back to that.
N7CS, let's go to Gary, K7HYB.
Welcome to the top of the hour, 73s, everybody. We'll maybe probably won't see you on Wednesday. We've got something else, and what's happening is we're going to a meeting on Wednesday. I've got to return some equipment to a client, so we're going to be up in that area. We'll swing by. I'll get all with you here sometime toward the time that we're going to go, just make sure that we're on the same page and that we don't our plans don't get changed. So anyway, I'll be in touch. 73 all. We'll talk to you later. K7HYB.
K7HYB. Let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
Okay, well, yeah, keep it relatively short, which is unusual for me. I just wanted to comment on the dirigibles. I was really, they're very exciting to me. Just as a kid, I remember the Goodyear blimp flying over the neighborhood. Thought that was incredible. But then when I first retired, I was doing a lot of reading, and World War I, I guess the Germans were pretty, they oriented their dirigibles to cause a lot of problems in London. And so the English, their response was to send their biplanes up with their newly minted machine guns and shoot them down. However, the gas would, there's so much gas, I guess, or whatever. I mean, they couldn't shoot them down. It would bleed too slow. But it was finally the solution to grounding these things was to add tracer rounds to the machine gun bullets, and it was the tracer rounds that finally was the demise. And the Germans' response to that was to fly at a much higher altitude where the planes couldn't go, but then the pilots of the dirigible froze to death, and they couldn't, or things would fog up and they couldn't find their way home. I mean, so it worked for a while for the Germans. It worked really good, actually, and it was almost a deal breaker for the English. But it was the tracer rounds that was the demise of the dirigible in World War I. With that, K7ITX, 73, everybody, back to net control.
K7ITX, let's go to Wade, W7ITL for a final.
Alright, this is W7ITL. Doesn't look like my audio or my video is coming through okay. I'm gonna try to see if I can get it to come through. That's alright. Yeah, so, the blimps and dark roads and two-lane roads and hydrant colliders. So it's been an interesting night. 73 is everybody, and we'll talk again next week. This is W7ITL. Back to net.
W7ATS, thanks for that. Again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. On the 08 machine, we'd like to thank the owners and operators of the 08 machine for allowing the Western Washington Amateur Television Society to utilize the 08 machine for our voice transmission for our video nets held on Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7ZYM, signing off for the evening. Good evening all. This is KD7ZYM.
N7KC disconnected.
clear, K7GWQ. WQ monitoring. US7A, K7GWQ. KC6FJO testing and clear. That previous station, you're loud and clear.